Rodney was driving his Model 3 in Las Vegas, Nevada. He was in a left turn lane behind a Toyota Supra when the light turned green to turn left. As the Supra turned, a black Prius tried to get between the Mustang and the other car, smashing into both. Rodney stopped, and the Prius driver who'd caused the accident got out of his car and ran away on foot. Rodney called the police, and they arrived within minutes. The Prius had been reported stolen, and one of the police officers asked Rodney to email him the footage right then and there since the Prius driver's face was visible in the video, and they could use it to try to identify him. Rodney also gave the footage to Savannah, the owner of the Mustang. She'd only owned the car for a few minutes and had gotten into the accident right after driving off the dealer's lot. The car still had temporary license plates, and Rodney says he felt really bad for her. The lady driving the Nissan was taken to a hospital but didn't have any major injuries. Rodney gave the paramedics his name and number to give to her in case her insurance provider needed to talk to him. Shetty had been out shopping the whole day. On his way home, he parked his Model 3 outside of a restaurant in Milpitas, California before going in to see if they were still open. Right then, thieves pulled up in a white Hyundai and smashed the rear passenger window and quarter glass. Surprisingly, even though the trunk was full of shopping bags and a wallet containing cash, the culprit didn't take a thing. Shetty thinks the would-be thief probably panicked once he saw Shetty coming back from the restaurant. It makes you wonder though, did they follow Shetty while he'd been shopping and target him based on what he'd bought? Or was this just a random smash and grab? Leave a comment and tell us what you think. Shetty contacted the police, filed an insurance claim, and had his car towed to a service center. Gary was driving down Peabody Road in Peabody, Massachusetts when a Toyota Highlander T-boned a Chevy pickup truck. Gary rushed over and checked on both of the drivers. Luckily, everyone was fine. When the police arrived at the scene, Gary gave them a copy of his Teslacam video. He asked us to give a shout out to his kids Gary, Matthew, Olivia, and AJ. Hey everybody, we hope you're satisfied. Sarah was on her way to charge at her local supercharger, and she has to make a U-turn to get there. When she approached the light, a lady in a Mazda was making strange gestures. After several light cycles, the UPS driver tried to run the light before changing his mind. The Mazda driver then tried to go around him in the other lane. When the light finally changed, she cut back into the left lane, made her U-turn, and headed toward a shopping center. Sarah took the next exit to the same shopping center, putting her closer to the superchargers. That's when she saw the same Mazda driver waiting for her at a stop sign. Sarah told us she could tell the lady was in a hurry. We're gonna mark this one down as a win for Sarah. Matt watched episode 123 of Teslacam Stories and recognized the crash scene from Whitaker. He went out to his Tesla and looked at his own Teslacam footage, and sure enough, he'd captured the aftermath of that crash. He said normally there's never traffic on this part of this highway, so he and his wife knew something was wrong. Thankfully, it seemed like everyone was okay. Sharp was driving with his parents out to a family dinner. There was a slow-moving semi-truck in the center lane, and just as Sharp caught up to it, one of the tires exploded, spraying debris all over the road. Autopilot was engaged, but he took over before it had a chance to react, steering right to avoid any debris heading toward the car. After it was over, all he could think about was how this was a perfect Wham Bam moment. He's been watching our videos for about a year now. He's thankful for the car's handling, making it possible to steer aggressively at high speeds. He's also a little protective of his car since he's only had it for 2 months. His father was in the passenger seat at the time. He got out to inspect the car but saw no visible damage. He also made sure the driver of the semi-truck was okay before they continued to their family dinner. Ricardo was driving on Highway 210 eastbound in Las Vegas, Nevada when a wild porta-potty suddenly appeared in the middle of the highway. RICARDO wasn't using Autopilot at the time, but we kinda wish he was. It would be really fun to see how Autopilot would have handled a portable toilet in the road.
Warning, 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 warning.
Daniel was driving home and witnessed another driver spin off the road while trying to make a left turn. It seems like his inability to turn sharply enough might be related to the extensive damage down the driver's side of the car. Philip was on I-405 in California cruising at 65 miles per hour before he increased his speed to 75 miles per hour. While he was speeding up, a driver behind him also accelerated to over 85 miles per hour. All of a sudden, a police motorcycle appeared and scared the driver into slowing down. Philip sent along a shout out for his girlfriend Mandy. They're both Tesla Model 3 owners. I can definitely see sparks flying between this couple. CAITLYN and her boyfriend were on their way to Folsom, California when a black car in the other lane unexpectedly lost a tire. He was able to immediately pull over and everything seemed fine, so they continued on. This happened just 24 hours after CAITLYN took delivery of her Model 3, and she didn't think she'd be able to capture a wham bam moment so soon. In fact, she was so new to owning the car that she didn't even realize at first that she'd captured the event on video. Now it seems like CAITLYN is a magnet to wham bam moments. The next day, she captured another gold nugget. She was driving home from work when a car suddenly spun out before burning rubber trying to escape the intersection. This submitter left his car in a public garage plugged in to charge. Apparently somebody didn't like that he was charging his car and tried to unplug it. Thankfully, he'd bought this inexpensive ring that locks the adapter to the charger. The guy struggled to unplug it before eventually being scared off by the Sentry mode lasers. We'll put the link to that locking ring in the description if you want to get one for yourself. Juan and his wife got in their Tesla after a very nice anniversary dinner. As Juan prepared to back out of the parking spot, he saw a white Infiniti pull over and stop a few car lengths behind them. He assumed they were waiting for him to pull out so they could take his parking space. He started to back out of the space when he noticed that the white Infiniti had started accelerating. He stopped and tried to shift gears to go forward, but he wasn't fast enough, and the Infiniti crashed into the left side of his rear bumper. The police showed up a few minutes later, and even though they sympathized with Juan's situation, Florida law automatically found Juan at fault since he'd been pulling out of a parking space. Juan got a ticket for improper backing, and now he has to go to court to sort it out. He submitted an insurance claim to the other driver's insurance provider, and his own insurance provider is helping with the case and has all the evidence. Matthias was driving his Model 3 in Denmark when an elderly woman drove her car onto brand new pavement. That guy does not look happy with what's going on. She had a very difficult time reversing back down the road. Chris drove with his dog and his Model S Plaid to a park nearby for a walk after lunch. When he came back to his car, he found several Sentry mode events waiting for him. An old man was really interested in the Tesla and spent over a minute checking out his car, going back and forth. Well, we can't blame him. The Model S Plaid is gorgeous. Let's check in with Mr. Pimp My Ride Wham Bam and see how his modifications are going. Last week was headlight tinting, and now it's time to tint the taillights. The set of film for the taillights is $100 US from Test Bros and fits both the Model 3 and the Model Y. Remember, Wham Bam gave the headlight tinting kit a 3 out of 5 difficulty rating. Well, this time it started raining when he was working on the taillights. That's what you get for making an installation guide for floor mats. These definitely give the car a more aggressive look, and it even tints the charging port cover for a completely blacked out look from the side. Compare it to his untinted Model 3 taillights.